Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. Thank you for joining us as we continue to update you on COVID-19 adjustments and more. This week, we'll hear from Nancy Allenby and Cindy Johnson from the Kearsarge Neighborhood Partners on how you can be a good neighbor. Jean Connolly from the Center for the Arts will give us a snapshot at what they have planned for this coming year. Sarah O'Connor and Terri Wilcox will give us more strategies for getting ahead of the disease during Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And we'll close the show with Ralph Marsh, one of the founders of the Veterans Ski Program and the New England Healing Sports Association. But first, these messages from the good local businesses that are still here for you during these challenging times. Remember, buying local is the best way to sustain our communities. We'll be right back. Welcome back to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. We are now joined by Nancy and Cindy for a real story of how neighbors can help neighbors. Here they are.
Well, Kearsarge Neighborhood Partners was born out of a concern that community members had for our neighbors in need. And so our hope in forming this group of individuals was that we could address these needs by connecting them with the community, by connecting them with each other, so that we would build this web of support and be able to lift them from this state of insecurity and instability. Kearsarge Neighborhood Partners began with several individuals who came together who said, we need to find a group of people who want to discuss how we can move forward in wholeness within this community. Also recognizing that one of the particular organizations that we were associated with and working with, which is CREM, Kearsarge Regional Ecumenical Ministries, was experiencing individuals coming back to them on an ongoing basis. And I think that that's what concerned us, is that oftentimes these crises that are being addressed and met are only either the tip of the iceberg, or in some ways they're not really meeting the bedrock issues that these individuals are facing.
One of the things that makes Kearsarge Neighborhood Partners really special is our principles. We started out realizing that when some of the relief organizations were helping individuals with a need, they were able to give them some financial help, able to solve some of the issues. But what we were trying to design was a way to walk with people and to have an individual relationship with people, and to help them move out of crisis by supporting them, possibly on a longer term basis. So by not doing for them and trying to empower them, we tell them we will walk beside you for as long as you want or as long as you need. And one of the last values that we really are in tune to is the value of reciprocity. So as people move towards wholeness and towards stability, we look for opportunities for them to become the giver. There's three ways that we connect, three levels of connection. The first level of connection is one person to one person, neighbor to neighbor. The second way that we connect is to help neighbors reach an organization or organizations that can help support them. And the third way that we connect is by collaboration, which is organizations collaborating with organizations together helping neighbors. So the simplest form of that connecting is the neighbor to neighbor. And we have something that's called a flash mission, as in mission accomplished. And a flash mission is a single deed that needs to be done on a particular day. It usually has a limit of 2 to 3 hours to it, but it could be much briefer than that if necessary. Please visit our website. On the home page, there are two main buttons in yellow. The first one is Neighbors Needing Help. If you are a neighbor needing help, if you know of a neighbor needing help, please encourage them to go to our website and click on that button. The other yellow button on that home page is Neighbors Ready to Help. If you would like to see if there's something that you could get involved in with Kearsarge Neighborhood Partners, if you click on the Neighbors Ready to Help button, there will be a short list of ways that you can get involved, and you can simply check off the things that you might be interested in. The third way that you could help is by donating. There is a third yellow button that says donate. We are a 501c3, but basically every single person who's helping with KNP is a volunteer, and believe me, people are basically working full-time for the organization on a volunteer basis. Wonderful group of people. There is a very special alternative gifting opportunity that's coming up. We have a volunteer who is a watercolor artist, and she has painted a gorgeous winterized version of our KMP logo, and we're having those made into holiday cards. If you'd like to make a donation and gift that to someone in their honor, the cards will say a donation has been made in your honor, and you can donate right through that button and let us know if you'd like some cards so that you can use that donation as a gift for a loved one or someone who you think would appreciate knowing that about KNP.
Thanks, Cindy and Nancy. There really are lots of ways you can help others during this unusual and needful holiday season coming upon us. When we come back, Jean Connolly, the chair of the Center for the Arts, will give us a rundown of their next year. Now let's hear from some of the good businesses that help make your Yankee Chronicle possible. Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host this week. Let's now join Jean Connolly at the New London Inn. Hey, Jean.
Well, I'm delighted to be here to tell you about all the good things that are coming up with the Center for the Arts. We still have several programs this year in 2020, which are both safely live and online. So there are still plenty of events happening. And we also have this year a very important arts auction. It's online, and it is to support arts education. Last year and in previous years, we've had large fundraisers. We had the Gala for Arts Education last year, Colby Sawyer, but because of COVID-19, we're not able to do that this year. So in lieu of that, we are doing an online auction. It's all creative events and items, lots of artwork, lots of opportunities to give something very creative this holiday season. It will be through November 30th. We're very excited about this, and we hope that the community will support us. There are so many things to purchase, and when you make a purchase, you are donating directly to the Arts Education Program. And that program allows us, the funding in that program allows us to work with teachers and administrators and in all the schools in the Lake Sunapee region to do visual arts, performing arts, music concerts, and to provide literary opportunities. But I want to tell you more about the auction, if I may. The auction is a great opportunity for you to purchase some very exciting items. We have the 10 by 10 art exhibit. All of the 10 by 10 panels have been prepared by oil painters, pastelists, photographers, multimedia artists, and they've been donated for this Arts Education Fund. All of the 10 by 10 pieces of work will be for sale for $100. So we have about 40 exceptional artists in our region who have donated some of their best work, and you can purchase it for $100. It's a great bargain, and you'll be getting some great artwork. If you don't want it for yourself, think about giving it as a gift to family and friends. In addition to that, we have lessons. Patrick Ross, who is one of our favorites here in the region, is giving a Zoom guitar lesson. Carl Beverly is giving fingerpicking lessons for guitar and songwriting lessons. We have author readings. Megan Baxter's donating a reading from one of her collections, as well as providing a manuscript consultation. And for all you writers out there, this is really valuable to get somebody who is a known author, a published author and a writer, to be able to edit and give you tips and suggestions on your personal manuscript. We also have wine tasting, which includes a bottle of great wine, children's books, CDs, tickets to future barn events at the New London Barn and Northern Stage, and cooking classes. So many great things to choose from. It's hard to know what to highlight here. I do want to mention that there's a special concert that Tom Pirozzoli has put together for us, specifically for this fundraising effort. It's an online concert. It is not out anywhere except through the Center for the Arts. And he's offering that free to anyone who logs into the auction or who gets on our website. We do appreciate donations, of course, and that's why Tom has done this. So if you have a free evening that you'd like to share with your family and friends or with others, log in to our website or click on the link to Tom's concert. It's great. It's a great acoustic concert. And also, if you feel inspired, please donate to the Arts Education Fund. All of this information is on our website. The links to everything is on our website. So we really hope that you will have a very creative winter and that you'll join us in lots of these programs and tune into our online auction and see if there's something there that you would love to have. I know there will be.
Thanks, Jean. The challenges of keeping arts and entertainment programs going in these times is really challenging. When we return, Sarah O'Connor and Terri Wilcox present part 2 of their interview about Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Now a few words from some of the good folks that help your Yankee Chronicle meet its challenges and theirs. Welcome back to this We're All in This Together edition of Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and 2 women from Wilmot who are non-smokers were diagnosed with this very treatable disease if it's caught early enough. Let's hear more.
Well, right now I think that research is so important in our area of lung cancer, but in all of lung cancer. Because of the stigma that has been attached to it historically, there hasn't been as much money going into the research of treatments for it. And as they're discovering some of these genetic types like ALK, they're able to develop targeted treatments for them. But unfortunately, these treatments right now, people develop resistances to them eventually, and they need to keep researching and finding more treatments so that we can keep going. That's the history of this is so interesting to me. That you do, I just can't believe it. So it was 12 years ago that they figured out what ALK lung cancer was. And they figured it out and they didn't have a treatment. And they had a treatment that they had developed for lymphoma that had an ALK genetic component. And that lymphoma treatment turned out to be a disaster for lymphoma patients. And so they decided to try it on lung cancer patients. And it actually works. And that's where we started seeing, people taking these medications and having dramatic results, like tremendous tumor reduction. And they extended the longevity of everybody so much with these treatments. One of the things we see universally with the friends that we've made who also have this disease is that it presents differently in every person, and you have to be really strong about advocating for yourself with your physician, so that, because both of us are non-smokers, we had none of the high risk factors for lung cancer, and we both have it.
I was not around secondhand smoke. And I just wanted to say that I think it's something like 90% of people with lung cancer diagnosed late stage. So it's a problem in terms of of diagnosis and not having those symptoms that are distressing. Well, I'd like to see better screening for people. I'd like to see more money in research. I'd like to see longer lengths of time for people with lung cancer, less stigma, whether you smoked or you didn't smoke. Everybody deserves life.
I think I would add that I would hope that they would universally screen for the type of genetic mutations that Sarah and I have, because that's so important in using these targeted treatments. And unbelievably, not everybody gets tested for that. But the way they figure out if you have these genetic mutations is they need to do a biopsy of your cancer tumor, and they do that using a bronchoscope. Once they take that biopsy, they test it, and they test the tumor material, and that's initially how they diagnose cancer. And then if they have enough tumor material, they can also look if there's any of these genetic patterns to the cancer. And if there is, then there's probably 9 or 12 of them that have targeted treatments that they can use.
I'm very pleased. I'm going to Mass General, and they're one of the leaders in the United States in terms of treating my type of cancer, Terri's type of cancer, and my oncologist actually does a lot of research, cutting edge research. She runs clinical trials, so I feel in very good hands. And that's one thing I would say to people is once you know your cancer, think about trying to go to the best practices possible, the best hospital possible to be treated, or at least use one of those hospitals as a second opinion.
So there's a organization called Longevity, and they're a charitable organization designed to extend the lives of people with lung cancer. And they allow us to set up our own individual donation sites. So through my Facebook page or through links that I send people, they can donate, and those dollars go 100% directly to ALK lung cancer research.
Thanks, Terri and Sarah. With fewer smokers these days, the percentage of those diagnosed with lung cancer has gone up. Be aware of the signs and advocate for yourself if you're concerned. Up next, Ralph Marsh, who was instrumental in bringing skiing and kayaking to veterans, will join us. Please stay with us for messages from these COVID-19 resistant businesses. Welcome back. I'm Abby Peel. The New England Healing Sports Association has had a long-time presence in our area. Let's hear how it came to be.
I worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I had a knock on my door from a disabled veteran who was also a skier. His name was Tony Santilli. He said, "Hey Ralph, how come, we've got mountains here, we've got veterans here, we've got snow here. Why do I have to go to Colorado to go to a disabled veteran ski event?" I looked at him and said, "Tony, I don't know why." And then the journey led us to Mount Sunapee, New Hampshire. At that point, we met with Lou Peroni, who was the president of the board of directors at the time, and Amy Lane, who's now Amy Toohey. And they welcomed us with open arms and sat there and brought us in, and they made a home for our veterans, and they made everybody feel so much better. The cry went out afterwards for, well, what are we doing next year? So we've started doing it then, and we've done it now for 23 consecutive years. We're coming up on year 24. We're now doing a fundraiser to make sure that happens, even with the COVID, and we're working towards making sure that we have lessons for veterans the week of January 11th through 15th. It really is a healing event. We really have found a number of times that veterans have come up with great gains that suffered from PTSD or physical disabilities because it's a transferable skill. If they can do this, they can do anything. So they sit there and they go home and move on with their lives, and it really is a life-changing activity. We had one veteran who was living in a nursing home at 72 years old, bilateral amputee, both legs missing. He said, if I never thought I'd ski with no legs at 72 years old. At the end of the second day, we were on the top of the hill, and Frank looked at me and said, you know, if I can do this, I don't need to live in a nursing home. He moved back home with his wife. Again, we changed that man's life. We've had other veterans that said this was the first time since they've been in combat that they felt welcome. The instructor that was with him said, welcome home, soldier, welcome home, and they both broke down crying. This is the kind of healing that happens on the hill with our veterans. You know, one year there's at least one story with every veteran that we have. It started with 10 veterans and now it's up to 60 veterans. But we've grown, and we now have programs that are going on weekly with things like White River Junction. And we have programs with veterans that come up on weekends or other events. We have a Welcome Home Veterans. We have a Women Veteran Specific Ski Day for women that it started out for women that had suffered from military sexual trauma. And to address that issue, we have no males around because it was important for them to have just females to share their experiences with and to share that reconnection of community, that peace on the mountain, that nature connection, and physical activity as well. So when I first started out here, the program was only in the winter, and it started in October and ended in April. But when Tom Kersey came on board as the executive director, he implored that the board of directors open it up to a full-time position and a full-time year-round program. At that point, we entered kayaking, which was still in its very beginning stages, and it has evolved so much that we can now get somebody who's a pretty much very high-level quadriplegic out on the water independently paddling their kayak with some of the adaptive equipment that's come around. It's amazing. And we looked into seeing what name changes could be done, and we really like the NESA kind of identity. So we just changed the handicap to healing because we really feel that that's what we focus on, is not the disability but the ability. So we want to focus on what's the healing part of the sports, and we really do focus on that. And we're a member-based organization, so we're always open to members to come up. Our clients are members, our volunteers are members, I am a member. You're welcome to join as a member. That's one of the ways you can sit there and support our organization is becoming a member. We love volunteers, and we love to help more people with disabilities. So come up and be a member. And we also have some generous supporters out there and some people that have made donations for our cause to get people access to these wonderful resources in the Sunapee area. If you want more information about membership, volunteering, or sponsorship of our programs and our mission, please visit our website.
Thanks, Ralph, for all you've done to make life better for our wounded warriors. Next week, we'll continue our investigation of other local businesses and institutions with the adjustments they have made due to the pandemic. Yankee Chronicle will catch up on the ongoing building renovations proposal for Sunapee Elementary School. Elf Sheila Wallace will join us to tell how we can help the Kearsarge Kids Christmas program. And we'll close with Sean Coe, the owner of the new coffee shop in Warner, Cafe 1 East. Don't miss our Game of the Week, Sunday and Monday at noon and 5 p.m. with a replay of the 2020 football game between Newport and Stevens over the air on cable or on our website. All other WYCX programming includes Outside Television's original shows. Check them out today. Join us again next week at this same time for another round of your Who, What, Where, and When show of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region. I'm Abby Peel. Stay safe, everyone.